It is 1951 during the Korean War, and we are sailing from Pearl Harbor, Hawaii on the USS Princeton aircraft carrier. The ship was the fifth U.S. Navy ship to bear that name and was one of 23 similar carriers built during World War II. Here you can see the large cranes and massive equipment in Pearl Harbor that can repair and maintain large Navy ships as needed. The Princeton is really a floating city of 3,500 men and can accommodate 100 fighter aircraft. It is here for a battle readiness inspection cruise before continuing on to Korea to provide air support for General MacArthur's troops. The flight deck crews are arming the planes now for strikes against the enemy. These Douglas AV Sky Raiders can carry 2,000 pounds of bombs and rockets. It takes a lot of manpower to attach those heavy bombs. The Princeton was built in the Philadelphia Navy shipyard and launched in 1945, just after World War II ended. It had been decommissioned 4 years later in 1949, but when the Korean conflict erupted in the following year, in mid-1950, she was quickly called back into active service along with thousands of us in reserve units throughout the United States. The older propeller planes are now being pulled back to the aft part of the ship to make room for the new jets, which will be brought up from the hangar deck shortly. And here they are being raised on the deck side elevator and pulled forward. These planes will be pulled forward in pairs and attached to the launch catapults, while the jet deflector plates here are raised behind them. The pilots climb aboard and prepare for their flight. Meantime, the safety helicopter takes off so that it can fly alongside to monitor the operations and to respond instantly to any emergency. And now they are pulled forward in pairs. Their front wheels are attached to those powerful catapults. The jet deflectors are raised behind them. They rev up their jets to full power. And now they're off, accelerated from 0 to 200 miles an hour in just 2 seconds. Fully up to flight speed, they're on their way. Now we can get a very good view of the operations from aboard the helicopter. And there they go. One jet is lowered by the deckside elevator back down to the hangar deck, since it wasn't fully prepared for flight. After the jets are launched, the propeller planes, the Gullwing F4U Corsairs and the AD Skyraiders, take off under their own power down the longer length of the deck. Noise from these jets and these old piston engines is deafening during these operations, as you can well imagine. Then they join in formation and head to their targets. And these are gun camera photos showing the results of their airstrikes. Finally, they return and take their turns at landing on the tiny floating and bobbing airport. This is the most dangerous part of their mission. The ship is 900 feet long, about 3 football fields in length, which is not much compared to the mile or longer land runways they have used previously. The planes have to be pulled way up to the front of the deck while the others land in the rear. I was midway through engineering school at the University of Colorado when our Naval Reserve Unit at Buckley Naval Air Station in Denver was called up, and I was flown on the huge Mars flying boat to Hawaii and Barbers Point Naval Air Station on the west end of Oahu. My unit was the Fleet All-Weather Training Unit Pacific, called FAW-2PAC, and our duty was to train the pilots for night and bad weather flying missions over in Korea. I was in charge of the electronics crew, calibrating and maintaining the radio and radar equipment necessary for those difficult operations. As the helicopter lands after the planes are all landed, I finally am able to return to the deck and congratulate the pilot for a good flight. Two of the most famous astronauts later flew from the Princeton into battle during the Korean and Vietnamese Wars. John Glenn, the first man to orbit around the world, and Neil Armstrong, the first man to step onto the moon. Now the jets return, and the signalman guides them in gingerly, telling them if they're too high, too low, or right on the perfect glide path. As they drop to the deck, their aircraft tail hooks catch on strong cables stretched across the deck to jerk them to a stop. And there are large safety nets ahead to stop them from plowing into other planes if the tail hooks miss. Then they move forward so that other planes can land behind them as the safety net, is raised again. This plane was too high, so he was flagged off and had to make another round. And they fold their wings and pull forward, and they are chocked into position so that they don't slide around on that tossing deck. Right in there, perfect landing. Two men rush out to unhook the tail hook from the cable behind them. They fold their wings and quickly move forward because this is very close time, or very split second teamwork it takes to keep this intricate operation going smoothly and avoid accidents. Too high. He's waved off. Has to go around for another try. This time he dropped it right in there. He has a wave off, but here comes one of the big guppies with radar underneath, and he made a good landing right at the end of the deck. They all pull forward as far as possible while the fireman in his asbestos suit is ready in case of any conflagration. Ground crews check the safety net, and finally, towards sunset, the last planes return. The signal officer says okay, gives them an engine cut, and finally, last one comes in, cut. Thank you for joining me in this Navy adventure.